Không, các bạn có thấy cái slide cô share chưa các bạn? Các bạn thấy slide? Hello các bạn có nghe rõ cô không ta? Các bạn nào nói cho cô nghe một cái đi. Các bạn nào nói cho cô nghe đi các bạn. Các bạn có nghe cô rõ không? Các bạn nói cho cô nghe đi. Ok. Tại vì bên này im ắng quá các bạn ơi, cô không biết được là bên các bạn có nghe hay không nữa. Các bạn ơi, cô có viết trên slide á, là cô có add thêm cái slide số 18 là slide này nè các bạn, và cái slide số 36 thì cô sẽ giải thích cái phần này cho các bạn sau khi cô dạy xong nha. Cuối buổi cô sẽ giải thích cho các bạn là thôi. Bây giờ cô sẽ share cho các bạn một cái tài liệu khác để học online. Okay. So, good morning, class. In the last class, so what happened with Minh Phương? So everyone ready? So let me start the class. So in the previous class, we studied what? Let me review. We studied what? AR, MA, mixed integer. Mixed model. And we studied what? Riemann. That is the integer. Integrate. Sorry. Integrated. So the parameter of AR, that is the P, MA is Q, PQ, and that's one PDQ, right? D represents for difference. So when we use different when your data is non-stationary. So the time series data non-stationary. So we take the different. The different here, the main purpose of this, that is the eliminate non-stationary. It means make it stationary, change to stationary. So the different here, you may, that is the first, you take the first. If still non-stationary, so you take the second. But it's usually it's not over the second. So today's lesson, I'm gonna review the stationary because that is related with the stationary and the different. So I'm afraid you forgot that the stationary, so I review that. Okay. So let me go with the main. So for stationary, if you want to examine the data have the stationary or not, so several things you should consider. Okay. The first, so you test for stationary. So the first thing you should check that is you look at the plot. Look at the plot. So you see have the no growth and or depth lines. Look at the plot. You see that is no growth or depth lines. So like this is no growth or depth line. Another thing that is the data that is fluctuation. The time series data have the constant, mean should be constant, mean and variance should be constant. Okay. So I already reviewed for you in the slide that is the stationary have been accessed using the time series plot. Plot show no change in the mean over time and no obviously change in the variance. It means the mean and variance here is not change over time. That is if you look at the plot. Okay. So let me see. Because I want to check that you can hear me or any question from you. Okay. So that is the four plots. So I give you example here. You can see that is the decline. I know that is the increase. Increase. The increase here So you can see that you can conclude that is a non-stationary mean. So you see that is the growth. But stationary must be no growth. But look at the figure here, you can see the data is growth. So you can conclude that is the non-stationary. And so another thing you should consider here that is the for ACF, that is autocorrelation function. For autocorrelation function here, you can see that is for several time class, just significant in several time class, and slow decline, right? Slow decline. So that is the signal here, also the non-stationary. So for non-stationary, that is stationary. Stationary. So non-stationary. So you can see it is ACF is autocorrelation function. So like several times plus significant. And slow decline. So if you look at the next slide, so you can see, so from the first to the seventh here, that is the significant. And slow decrease. So from seven, so you can see that is the slow decline. Okay. So if you look at the partial, in the partial, you see only one that is significant. Just only class 1 significant. And the rest is close to 0. So one class significant. So equal to 1. And the rest is near to 0. Okay. So I think that is, we already study in before midterm, right? Before midterm, we already studied. So what the non-stationary here, so how we can remove that non-stationary? So right now, we remove non-stationary. So for remove non-stationary, we use the differences. So different thing show you what that is represent for difference. So you take difference between t and t minus 1. So that will help you to remove the stationary. So if you take the first, here that is the first difference. But this one still non-stationary, so you can take the second. Also take different. So see here, that is the non-stationary. That is the original one. Okay, that is the original one. For plots and for AFCs, ACF is autocorrelation function. Here that is the partial. So let's see how they remove that. Of course, let's look at this. That is the non-stationary. It means non-stationary mean not constant. So we conclude that is non-stationary. We have several time class and slow slide, and one plus significant equal 1, and the rest is near to 0. So let's see how we remove that. So look at this figure. So you can see that is the first difference. First difference. So you look at this. That is the original one, right? That is increase. But after we take the difference, so you can see the data here is more stationary. Is this? And here that is the autocorrelation function. Autocorrelation function just only class 1, that is outside of the limitation. Limitation here represent for 95%. That is the confidence interval is 95%. So you can see here within 5% significant limit. So I think it's just only one here is satisfied. For partial autocorrelation also satisfy 5 significant limit. Only one. So okay, you see here. So and I just tell you that is in 2 figures, so that just class 1 outside of limit, but acceptable to have 5%. So it means right now we already remove the stationary. So we can use that. We can use the data that. So everyone, you got what I mean? Because ARIMA, they have E, D, and Q. So D here is different. So from the non-stationary, we must transform stationary in different here, by different. So that's why we need to study difference. So after you remove the non-stationary, so you can use that data to build the ARIMA model. Okay, everyone? So let me check that. Which is just only me speak. You cannot see the board. Mm, can you see it, everyone? Hello. Okay. Sorry. So right now you can see the board. Everyone. So look. Let me check this. Can you see the board? No. No one can see it. Vậy để cô check lại coi thử nha các bạn. Vậy giờ cô tắt lại xong rồi cô vô lại thử nha. Nãy giờ tại vì không có cái này kế bên thật sự là khó. Để cô tắt cô vô lại nha các bạn. Trời Stop. Alo, được chưa các bạn? Ok. Mừng quá. Okay. So can you see the board? Everyone. So let me repeat again. Okay. Let me repeat it. So if you want to check the non-stationary, let's see. Okay, let me repeat that. Everyone, if you let me repeat that. For ARIMA, you remember ARIMA, we need three parameters. That is the P, D, and Q. P, D, and Q. D represent for AR. So can you see it? ARIMA. So look at the ARIMA. P, that is represent for AR. D represent for different. And Q represent for MA. Represent for MA. Okay. So D here, that is the difference. D is different. Why when it's different? Because you know that our REMAR model that is support to deal with the data with the non-stationary. So for non-stationary, we can use ARIMA, but we need to transform to the stationary. So D equal to 0, that is the stationary, but D equal 1, that is the non-stationary. So right now, I want to review that with the data non-stationary. So what should we do? So of course, for non-stationary, we need to take the different here. But how we can recognize your data that is stationary or non-stationary? So the first, let me review the stationary first. If stationary, so you look at the plot. Look at the plot. So you can see that your data is no growth or decline. And the data here have the mean and the variance is the constant. It's not change over the times. Ồ, các bạn không thấy bảng hả các bạn? Thấy slide thì không thấy bảng. Vậy Ồ. Sao kỳ vậy ta? Ừm, alo, chứ không thấy bảng sao? Ồ. Ờ, nhưng mà Zoom á thì nó có thể làm được đồng thời nên cô cứ tưởng nó giống như Zoom. Rồi. Ờ, các bạn ơi, nhưng mà nếu mà vậy thì sao các bạn hay là các bạn dùng hôm nay tại vì nó hơi lập cập, hay là mình dùng Zoom đi các bạn. Tại vì Zoom á các bạn, Zoom thì trường mình không còn mua bản quyền nữa, nên là 45 phút nó sẽ kết thúc. Thì các bạn đồng ý Zoom không? Cô tạo cái link Zoom, cô gọi cho các bạn. MS Team thì được, nhưng mà tại vì cô chưa có chuẩn bị cái NS Team hồi đó giờ cô không có xài, cô chỉ xài Zoom thôi, nên là NS Team thì phải cô phải download về nữa. Thì thôi đỡ dạy, cứ dạy 45 phút cô cho các bạn break được không? Xong rồi xong rồi cô gửi lại cái link cho các bạn thôi, thì các bạn cứ gửi cái mã đó thì các bạn cứ đăng nhập vô thôi, được không? Ok, ok, đợi cô làm liền nè. Hôm sau cô sẽ lên trường tại vì họ trường chưa có chuẩn bị cho mấy cái này, chưa có tạo lớp nên cô chỉ có dùng cái này thôi. Bắt đắc dĩ lắm. Ờ, ok. Sorry các bạn bên Wicom, tại vì bên này mấy bạn không có đồng ý như vậy nên Hôm sau cô sẽ dùng cố gắng dùng NS Team để cho các bạn. Bạn cố gắng tí nha các bạn, cô cũng cố gắng. Cô đợi các bạn nha, cô cho các bạn vô hết mới được. Thì cái này nó không có mong muốn các bạn, cô muốn dùng cái software nào cũng phải có các bạn thì cô mới biết là kiểm tra thử chứ chưa biết. Tại vì trong này hết submit rồi, hết cái support của trường rồi nên là